Hello, and welcome to Clearly English, the podcast where we help you speak English with confidence. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex.
If you clicked on this episode today, I want you to know something. You are in exactly the right place. Because today, we are talking about something that so many English learners feel but don't always say out loud: the fear of speaking English. That moment when you know the words, you understand the language, but when it's time to actually open your mouth and speak, something stops you. Your heart beats faster, your mind goes blank, and the words just won't come out. If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you. Before we dive in, if you are enjoying Clearly English, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new lesson. And when you finish listening today, leave a comment below and tell us, do you feel afraid to speak English? And what is the situation that scares you most? We read every comment, and your answer is already speaking practice. So, Alex, let's talk about this. Can you relate to what I just described?
Honestly, yes, 100%. I think a lot of people feel exactly that way. You study English, you watch videos, you understand so much, but then someone speaks to you in English and suddenly everything disappears.
Exactly. And I want everyone listening to hear this clearly. If that is you, you are not alone. This is one of the most common experiences for English learners at every level. Even people who have been studying for years feel this way sometimes. So today, we are going to talk about why this happens, what you can do about it, and most importantly, we are going to practice together. Because the only way to get less afraid is to speak. Even when it's scary, even when it's imperfect, you speak and slowly the fear gets smaller.
I like that. The fear gets smaller when you practice.
Yes, and we're going to prove that today. So, Alex, let me ask you something. When you think about speaking English and feeling nervous, what exactly is going through your mind in that moment?
I think the biggest thing is the fear of making mistakes. Like, what if I say the wrong word? What if my grammar is bad? What if people laugh at me or think I'm stupid?
Yes, the fear of judgment. That is so real.
And then there's the freezing. Like, I know the word in my language, but I can't find it in English. And I just stand there looking confused. And that makes it worse.
Absolutely. And then what happens?
Then I feel embarrassed, and I start to avoid situations where I have to speak English. Like, I'll choose to be quiet instead of trying, because staying quiet feels safer.
And does staying quiet help?
No, it actually makes it worse, because then I practice less and the fear gets bigger.
Exactly. And this is the cycle that so many learners get stuck in. Fear leads to silence. Silence leads to less practice leads to more fear, and the cycle continues. But here is the good news. You can break that cycle, and you break it by speaking, even a little, even imperfectly, even when you're scared.
I like that. Actually doing it when you're scared.
I know, and I'm not going to tell you it's easy, but I am going to tell you it's worth it, and I'm going to show you how to start. Because starting is the hardest part. Once you start, it gets easier, every single time.
Okay, I believe you. So where do we start?
We start by understanding something important. There is a big difference between knowing English and feeling safe enough to speak it. A lot of learners know a lot of English. They understand grammar, they know vocabulary, they can read and listen well, but speaking feels different because speaking is vulnerable. When you speak, people hear you, they respond, and that feels risky.
Yeah, reading and listening feel private, but speaking is out there. People can judge you.
Exactly. And that vulnerability is what creates the fear. But here's what I want you to understand. The people you are talking to are not judges. They are not grading your English. They are just people who want to communicate with you. And most of the time, they are patient. They want to understand you. And they appreciate that you are trying.
That's actually really reassuring, because I think in my head, I imagine people are very critical.
Most people are not. And even if someone is impatient, that says something about them, not about your English. Your effort to communicate is always something to be proud of. Now, I want to introduce a mindset shift that I think will really help. Instead of thinking, I need to speak perfectly, try thinking, I just need to communicate. Communication is the goal, not perfection.
Communication, not perfection.
Yes, say that again.
Communication, not perfection.
Perfect. And everyone listening, say that too, out loud. Communication, not perfection. Because if you can get your message across, if the other person understands what you are trying to say, you succeeded. It does not matter if your grammar was perfect. It does not matter if you used the most advanced vocabulary. What matters is that you communicated.
And that takes so much pressure off.
It really does. Now let's practice some phrases that can help you in real situations. These are simple phrases that give you time, that ask for help, and that help you communicate even when you feel nervous. The first one is, I'm learning English. This is one of the most powerful phrases you can say because it lets the other person know where you are, and most people will immediately be more patient and supportive.
I'm learning English.
Good. Say it again.
I'm learning English.
Perfect. Now, the next one. Can you repeat that, please? This is what you say when you don't understand something. Instead of nodding and pretending you understood, you ask them to repeat it. That's brave. That's smart.
Can you repeat that, please?
Good. Again.
Can you repeat that, please?
Excellent. Now, can you speak more slowly, please? Sometimes people speak very fast. It is completely okay to ask them to slow down.
Can you speak more slowly, please?
Perfect. Again.
Can you speak more slowly, please?
Great. Now, I need a little time to think. This is a wonderful phrase because sometimes you need a moment, and instead of freezing in silence, you can say this. It tells the other person, I am still here, I am thinking, please wait.
I need a little time to think.
Good. Say it again.
I need a little time to think.
Perfect. And one more. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say that differently? This is a more advanced version, but it's really useful because sometimes hearing something a different way helps a lot.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say that differently?
Excellent. So now you have 5 really powerful phrases. I'm learning English. Can you repeat that, please? Can you speak more slowly, please? I need a little time to think. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say that differently? These phrases are your tools. They help you stay in the conversation even when you feel nervous.
And they are really simple. I can remember those.
Exactly. And everyone listening, practice those phrases right now. Say them out loud. I'm learning English. Can you repeat that, please? Can you speak more slowly, please? I need a little time to think. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say that differently? Say them. Own them.
These really do feel empowering, like I have tools now.
You do, and tools give you confidence. Now let's talk about some real-life situations where the fear shows up, and let's practice together. The first one is meeting someone new. Imagine you are at a social event, and someone walks up to you and says, Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm David. Alex, what do you say?
Okay. Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Perfect. That's it. That's all you need. Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. You don't need to say anything else. That's a complete, warm, natural response.
It feels too simple, though. Like, is that really enough?
Yes, it is absolutely enough. And if you want to add something, you could say, I'm still learning English, so please be patient with me, and watch how the other person responds. Usually they smile and say, Of course, no problem.
That's really nice, actually.
People are kind. Now let's try another situation. You walk into a coffee shop and the person at the counter says, Hi, what can I get for you? Alex, what do you say?
Okay, I can do this. Hi, can I get a coffee, please?
Perfect. Simple, clear, polite. You ordered your coffee. Mission accomplished. Now, what if they ask what size and you don't know the sizes they have?
Oh, I'd say, I'm sorry, what sizes do you have?
Excellent. You asked a question. You kept the conversation going. That's real communication, and you did it perfectly. Now let's try one more. Imagine you are lost and you need to ask someone for directions. Alex, what do you say?
Excuse me, can you help me, please? I'm looking for the train station.
Perfect. Excuse me, can you help me? I'm looking for blank. That's all you need. And if they give you directions and you don't fully understand, what do you say?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please? Or can you speak more slowly, please?
Exactly. You use your tools. You stay in the conversation. You get the information you need. And now let's try a workplace situation. Imagine a coworker comes up to you and says, "Hey, did you finish that report?" Alex, what do you say?
Yes, I finished it this morning.
Perfect. What if you didn't finish it?
I'm still working on it. I need a little more time.
Excellent. Simple, honest, clear. And if you don't understand what report they're talking about,
I'm sorry, which report do you mean?
perfect. You asked for clarification. That's exactly right. And here's what I want you to notice. In every single one of those situations, you communicated. You might not have been perfect, but you got your message across, and that is success.
Yeah, and when you break it down like that, it doesn't feel as scary.
Because it isn't as scary as your brain tells you it is. Your brain exaggerates the risk. It tells you that everyone is watching, everyone is judging, and every mistake is a disaster. But none of that is true. Most conversations are simple, most people are kind, and most mistakes are forgotten immediately.
So my brain is kind of lying to me.
A little bit, yes, and you can tell your brain, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I've got this. I can do this."
I like that. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I've got this.
Now let's do some speaking exercises together. Alex, I want you to imagine you are at a new job. It's your first day. Your manager walks over and says, "Good morning. Welcome to the team. Can you tell us a little about yourself?" Alex, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Alex. I'm from Brazil. I'm really happy to be here. I'm still learning English, but I'm doing my best.
That was wonderful. Warm, honest, and completely natural. How did that feel?
Better than I expected. Like, once I started talking, it wasn't so bad.
Exactly. The starting is the hardest part. Once you open your mouth and the first word comes out, the rest follows. Now, let's try another one. Imagine you're calling a doctor's office to make an appointment. You call and someone answers and says, "Hello, doctor's office. How can I help you?" Alex, go ahead.
Hello, I'd like to make an appointment, please. My name is Alex.
Perfect. What if they ask, "What is the appointment for?"
I have a sore throat, and I'd like to see the doctor.
Excellent. Clear, simple, and completely effective. And what if they speak too fast and you miss something?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please? Or can you speak more slowly?
Perfect. You handled that beautifully. Now, let's try one more. Imagine you are in a store and you can't find what you're looking for. You see a store employee. Alex, what do you say?
Excuse me, can you help me, please? I'm looking for blank, but I can't find it.
Perfect. And if they show you where it is, what do you say?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Beautiful. And notice you weren't perfect. Maybe you hesitated a little, maybe you weren't sure about a word, but the communication happened. The employee helped you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and I feel so much more confident after practicing those scenarios.
Because practice works. Every time you practice, the fear gets a little smaller, the words come a little faster, the confidence grows a little more. Now I want to do something important. I want to talk about what happens when you make a mistake, because you will make mistakes. Everyone does. Even native English speakers make mistakes every single day. So let's practice what to do when it happens.
Okay, what do you do?
You keep going. That's it. You make a mistake, you acknowledge it if you want, and you keep going. You might say, "Sorry, I meant to say blank." Or you might just correct yourself naturally. Or you might not even notice it because the other person understood you anyway.
So mistakes are not the end of the conversation?
No, mistakes are part of the conversation. They are part of learning. And here's something important to remember. Every single fluent English speaker you have ever admired made thousands of mistakes to get there. Thousands. Mistakes are not the opposite of progress. Mistakes are part of progress.
That completely changes how I think about making mistakes.
Good, because I want you to make mistakes. I want you to speak and stumble and keep going because that's how you improve. Not by staying silent, not by waiting until you're perfect, by speaking, making mistakes, learning, and speaking again.
Speak, make mistakes, learn, and speak again.
Yes, that's the cycle of improvement. Now let's do our confidence section. I'm going to say some affirmations and I want you to repeat them. And everyone listening, say these out loud with us. Really mean them. Ready, Alex?
Ready.
I am learning English and I am improving every day.
I am learning English and I am improving every day.
My English is good enough to communicate.
My English is good enough to communicate.
I am allowed to make mistakes.
I am allowed to make mistakes.
I am brave enough to speak.
I am brave enough to speak.
Every sentence I say makes me stronger.
Every sentence I say makes me stronger.
I do not need perfect English to connect with people.
I do not need perfect English to connect with people.
I choose to speak even when I feel afraid.
I choose to speak even when I feel afraid.
I am becoming more confident every single day.
I am becoming more confident every single day.
How did that feel?
Really good, like something shifted inside me.
Good, because something did shift. And I want everyone listening to say those affirmations every day, not just today, every day, because the way you talk to yourself matters. If you tell yourself you can't do it, you won't try. But if you tell yourself you are learning and improving and brave enough to speak, you will, and you are. Now, I want to talk about fear for one more moment, because I think it's important to understand what fear actually is. Fear is not a sign that you can't do something. Fear is a sign that something matters to you. You are afraid to speak English because speaking English matters to you. Your progress matters to you. Being understood matters to you. And that is not weakness. That is caring deeply about something. That is motivation.
So the fear is actually proof that I care.
Yes, and that caring is what will drive you forward. So the next time you feel afraid before speaking English, I want you to think, I feel afraid because this matters to me. And then I want you to speak anyway, because that's what brave people do. They feel afraid and they do it anyway.
Feel afraid and do it anyway.
Yes, that's courage, not the absence of fear, but moving forward despite the fear. And you can do that. You are doing that right now by listening to this. You are moving forward, and I am so proud of you for that.
That really means a lot to hear.
I mean it, and I want everyone listening to hear this. You have already taken a step today by being here, by listening, by learning. That is not nothing. That is something. That is the beginning, and the beginning is the most important part.
Because you have to start somewhere.
Exactly. You have to start somewhere, and you have started. So now the question is, what's your next step? Maybe it's saying good morning to someone in English tomorrow. Maybe it's ordering your coffee in English this week. Maybe it's leaving a comment below in English right now. Whatever it is, take that step, and then take another one, and then another. And before you know it, you will look back and be amazed at how far you have come.
I really believe that now.
I feel so different from when we started this episode.
That's the power of practice. That's the power of speaking. And that's the power of believing in yourself. You came into this episode feeling afraid, and you're leaving it feeling a little braver. And that is exactly what we hoped for.
Thank you, Emma. This was really helpful. I think a lot of people needed to hear this today.
I hope so, because no one should stay silent because of fear. Your voice matters, your English matters, your story matters, and the world deserves to hear it. So please, speak. Even when it's hard, even when you're scared, even when it's not perfect, just speak.
Just speak.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Clearly English. If this episode helped you feel a little less afraid, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new lesson. And please leave a comment below and tell us, what is one situation where you want to feel more confident speaking English? Share it with our community. You are not alone, and we want to hear from you. Remember, fear gets smaller every time you practice. Every sentence is progress. Every word is a step forward. Keep listening, keep practicing, and keep speaking. We believe in you. See you next time.
See you next time.